went back in time to kill the evil from the future. When the special dormitory was used to house students considered important by the academy. At first, only Warren and I were there, but now it is almost full. Every morning I fight with Warren, shower, and see that new students have arrived on the second floor. At the end of the hall, the two princesses have their rooms. The first princess, Estelle, goes to the chapel for morning prayers, while the second princess, Miriam, probably goes to her lab. Unlike the original story, since both princesses have begun to live at the academy, I am worried about what changes it will bring. On the other end of the hall, as Corin Locke opens the door, he said, "Hey, twins, time to wake up." Ron said, "Let me sleep, just 3 more minutes." Ren yawned and said, "No, make that 5 more minutes." Corin Locke thought to himself, typically these cuties would have grown to be villains. They must be tired, as I pushed them past their limits during the test. Corin Locke said, "Now, let us brush your teeth." Ren yawned again while Corin Locke put toothpaste on her brush, while Ron, still sleeping, brushed his teeth riding on Corin Locke's shoulder. Ren said, "But the toothpaste is so spicy." Corin Locke thought, But they are like toddlers. According to the original plot, they will be quite useful, as they eventually became mid-bosses. So it would be nice if they grew up quickly into their final forms. Well, whatever. The kids who would have endured such terrible things have instead become this cute. Seeing them, I realized that I should not hesitate to change the future. A few moments later, at the chairman's office, Chairman Ryu said, "Mages from the Mage Tower have come to visit." Corin Locke asked, "For what purpose?" Ryu Kasar replied, "They are here to access research materials from the Merkaba Grand Library and inquire about the careers of students studying magic." Corin Locke said, "Well, the Mage Tower is always short-handed, so I understand. The younger generation would prefer to teach at the academy than work at the Mage Tower these days." Professor Josephine said, "So you know the Mage Tower well?" Corin Locke thought, at the beginning, the Mage Tower had a monopoly on magic and mages. It was a place of corruption, where elder mages extorted the work of their juniors. But due to the appearance of Merkaba Academy, the Mage Tower became a losing rival after losing its dominant spot. Around that time, the witch hunts began. The Mage Tower naturally followed the will of the Order, as they treated demi-humans like guinea pigs. Heroes from the Academy who were against it stepped in to end the witch hunt. That event became known as the Witch Revolution. Corin Locke said, "I could not know them better than you. After all, you were a participant in the Witch Revolution 80 years ago." Said Corin Locke thought, "It is in our history books." Professor Josephine said, "Shame. That was a long time ago. Also, I did not do it alone." Ryu Kasar said, "Phew, phew, phew. I was also there. And so was Balthazar." Corin Locke thought, "The subject of Balthazar, a traitor, is a sensitive topic for my master. But I need to use what I can. They think of me as Balthazar's student as of now. I will leak future information disguised as Balthazar's plans." Corin Locke said, "The Mage Tower is also connected to Balthazar." Professor Josephine said, "That means the visitors," Ryu Kasar thought Corin, "is giving us information from the future." Corin Locke said, "Yes, they have an ulterior motive beyond just accessing our library and scouting students." A few moments later, outside, Corin Locke said to Mariette Dunalev, "The Mage Tower is probably coming to visit you personally." Mariette Dunalev said, Me? Why?" Corin Locke said, "The vampire blood that flows in you is desirable to the Mage Tower, which is desperate to study demi-humans." "But," Mariette Dunalev said, "it will be problematic if they lay even a single finger on me." Corin Locke thought, Pendy Dunalev family, known as the Potato Empire, is responsible for supplying the entire continent and is the most powerful family in the South. It is not exactly sensible to mess with such a family over some experiments, but the Mage Tower may not care, Corin Locke thought grimly. They follow Tatez Balthazar. Mariette Dunalev blinked in confusion. "Tatez? Balthazar?" Corin Locke said to himself. "It is time I tell her everything." He leaned in and said quietly, "What I am about to tell you must remain strictly between us, about Balthazar and his goal." A few moments later, Mariette, now pale and wide-eyed, said, "So, according to you, the coming of paradise that the chairman's wicked disciple is trying to bring about involves gathering all 4 original runes and all 4 secret treasures, and then using that power to erase every civilization and create a new world of their own design?" Corin nodded. "Exactly. That is why neither the Catholic Church nor the Mage Tower cares how strong their enemies are now. They believe all of this. Everything will be wiped out anyway, Mariette whispered. So they really were planning something that terrifying. Corin continued. It may sound far-fetched, but Balthazar truly has the power to make it happen. That is why. I know I am asking a lot, but I need a favor from you. Huh? Mariette blushed as she bit into her potato. I'm so glad. I thought you'd go through everything without me. Then as her eyes softened, she said seductively, do not call it a favor. I would do anything for you. Corin smiled and said, now then, we have something to do today. He began walking off. Come to the Happy Inn at midnight. I have some things to prepare. Mariette dropped her potato. I see. She blushed like a boiling teapot. Yeah, at the inn. With Corin, at midnight? We can do whatever you want, Corin. I would be fine with anything. Later that night, Corin spied on the Mage Tower delegates and muttered to himself, so it seems they plan to stay at the academy during the day and at a hotel at night? These scoundrels. There are 50 mages visiting from the tower, and out of them, 3 are classified as named. The first is the Red Magic Faction's Elder Admalek. Elder Admalek barked, I said bring me data from section 13-7. Bring it immediately, Corin thought, a cranky old man and head of the fire mages. His personality matches his element. Then there's Elder Morshutan of the Black Magic Faction. Elder Morshutan sneered, bring me a new test subject. Do not waste my time. Corin continued internally. And lastly, there's the Edrin of Gold, Balthazar's collaborator and the final boss of the Magic Tower incident. He's the one I must take down the most, but I do not know who he is among these 50 mages. Nearby, a mage yelled, hey, you bottom-feeding mage, bring them over here. If you drop them, I will squeeze your mana heart. Lork trembled. Ah, okay. Corin sighed. Lork really became their servant by joining the Mage Tower. Sweating, Lork whimpered, wah. Corin shook his head. Lork, you really need to change your career. He slipped into the alley and smirked. Bingo. After all, the Mage Tower will soon be gone for good. That night, a man cursed loudly. Darn it, fudge, I lost again. An old man cackled. Ho, oh. Another gambler asked, aren't you winning a bit too much? That old man was Manroji, the black mage of the 4th floor of the Mage Tower. Manroji thought smugly, I do not care for liquor. But every city has its underground gambling den. He subtly used magic to spy on the cards. He has 2 pairs. That one has a straight. Too easy, he muttered. Time for another fool to join us. Suddenly a voice chimed in. Mind if I join? Manroji stiffened. They are here. Turning with a sleazy grin, he said, of course you can. This is what I am really after. A few moments later, the lady cried, Kya! She fell onto the bed. Are you really going to give me my money back? Manroji thought to toy with someone I've already drained dry. Grinning, he said, of course. Hoo-hoo, so stay put. Suddenly, a shadow loomed behind him. Corin Loch smiled darkly behind Manroji, like a maniac. Manroji flinched and cast a spell. Who's there? Lesser curse magic? Corin easily grabbed Manroji's face. A curse like that? Nothing. He slammed the man into the ground. Stop right there. You lose your arm if you get caught cheating. But going a step further and messing with a lady? You deserve worse. Manroji panicked. Wait, I didn't do anything. She asked me for it first. Corin narrowed his eyes. Miss Lena is not the one I am talking about. Lena stepped forward. Boss, Corin said firmly. She is a lady. I'm talking about Mariette Dunilef. Manroji's eyes widened in shock. Corin leaned in. The Mage Tower's true purpose here is to kidnap the special class demi-human, Mariette Dunilef. I know the church and the tower do not see demi-humans as people, so that's why I brought this. He turned and looked toward the doorway. Ready? Mariette Dunilef stepped forward. Okay. Immortal, Corin said. Turn this guy. Manroji screamed in fear as sweat drenched his body. Corin Loch, with a terrifying smile, said, into a vampire. Mariette Dunilef replied, all right, whatever you say, Ko. Immortal. At the library, Merkaba Academy Elder Morshutan said, where the heck is Manroji? I have not seen him since yesterday. Relin answered, well, he's probably gambling right now. It's quite common for him to spend days in gambling dens, drunk. Elder Morshutan said, Tisk, I specifically stressed the importance of this operation. How will the Tower Master Idrin view the Black Magic Faction if we are so irresponsible? He then thought to himself, no, maybe Adrian was disguised as Manroji this whole time? Adrian is the only one in contact with Tetez, so it is hard to know what is going on. Who knows what he is plotting with the Red Faction behind our backs? Elder Morshutan shouted, Rillan, locate Manroji right away. Rillan answered, yes, sir. Elder Morshutan then noticed something. He saw Ren and Ron walking. Ren said, "Do not be pouting now. I told you we have to be quiet in the library." Ron pouted. "Shh, you always yell at me," Ren replied. "Just be quiet." Ron mumbled, "Hango." Elder Morshutan, with his tongue out, muttered, "Oh ho, are they demi-humans?" And then a few moments later, Raylan complained to the bartender, "Sigh, where is Manroji, that bald fudgehead? I'm of the 3rd floor. Why do I need to run errands like this? Black Magic Faction, 3rd floor disciple, Raylan. Just you wait. I am moving to the Red Faction after this. You just need to suck up to that old man over there." Corin Locke suddenly said, "James Bond style, Uncle Paul, get me 2 stirred martinis, not shaken." Raylan was confused. Corin Locke added, "The name's Corin Locke. Did you come here alone?" He sniffed his martini and handed the other glass to Raylan. Raylan raised an eyebrow. "Did I come here alone? You seem rather young to be hitting on girls like this." Corin Locke replied, "I guess the Mage Tower is full of overly studious girls, eh? Even young honeybees recognize when they've found a flower." Corin Locke tries to look handsome. He thought to himself, "As for the drama class with Alicia, my test was complete." In class, Corin Locke said, "I know you took this as a required class, but why did you choose this soap opera about cheating, Alicia?" Alicia Arden responded, "It is such a beautiful story." Corin thought, "This script is perfect." Raylan snapped, "What's an underage kid doing at the bar? Go home." Corin was confused. Raylan kept ranting, "Man, I already needed to deal with that drooling old geezer in the Red Faction." Corin said, I am sorry," Raylan shouted, "and now darn prepubescent kids are hitting on me." "Forget off. Get your boss out here. You cannot let kids drink at your bar." Alicia Arden, from shock, turned completely dazed. Estelle Hadasha El Ras suddenly touched Raylan's soft pink lips and said, "Oh dear." Raylan snapped, "Who the heck is?" Estelle replied gently, "Let's cut out the bad words. You should talk with more elegance, especially when your lips have such a nice hue." Corin Locke thought to himself, "Why is the Saintess here of all places? Can I buy you a drink?" Corin thought, Estelle Hadasha El Ras is the first princess, as well as beloved by God as the almighty Saintess. Her issue is her personality. Estelle continued, "Oh, you are 26? That means we are the same age. Want to hang out with me tonight?" Raylan blushed. "Could I? I guess you're pretty enough." Corin thought, she is a complete narcissist. Uncle Paul said, "Here, drink up." Corin added mentally, and also a hedonist. She is beautiful enough to hit on both women and men. Estelle said, "You're not as pretty as me, but you're still rather cute." Corin thought, the problem is, Raylan, half drunk, said, "I swear I'm not drunk," and her head fell onto the table. Corin said to Estelle, "We'll be taking Raylan. I took theater class to prepare for this mission." Estelle said, "Oh, but this only succeeded because of my beauty. I saved your mission, yet you're going to just leave like that?" Then she snapped her fingers. "We have been planning this for a long time as well." Suddenly, the other customers put on masks. Corin thought in panic, "Every customer here?" Alicia Arden shouted, "What? We're both first-ranked knights. Back off." Corin warned, "Alicia, stop. These guys are the secret squad of the church that punishes those who harm demi-humans." Vice Captain Morkai gasped, How did you know that?" Its companion warned, "It's dangerous to show such knowledge." Corin smirked, "I think you must be mistaken. I'm never in danger. I could take you all on without Alicia's help." Golden, electrifying aura surged around him. Vice Captain Morkai grabbed his sword and roared, "You arrogant brat!" Estelle raised her hand. "Cut it out, Vice Captain Morkai." She thought silently, "As I thought, it must be true that he has the son, this Corin Locke." Corin said, "Let's make a deal. I have 2 conditions." Estelle responded, "All right. The first is to have her, right? How do you want to pay us back?" Raylan snores loudly. Corin Locke said, "Elder Morshutan, leader of the Black Faction, if your goal is to arrest those who harm demi-humans, then he is a prime target. I'll also provide proof of the illegal experiments he has been conducting." Estelle Hadasha El Ras said, If the intel is at least solid," Corin Locke said, "in the northeast, at Antek Village, there's a private plot of land behind the mountain. There's a small shack there. It's close to the Magic Tower." Estelle Hadasha El Ras said, "You're giving me that much information unconditionally? What do you want?" Corin Locke smiled and said, "My condition is to arrest every single mage from the Magic Tower involved in this mission. The Magic Tower is a corrupt den at the moment. From the elders to the bottom feeders, every last one is rotten." Vice Captain Morkai said, "Nonsense! It's not possible to capture so many people." Corin Locke said to himself, "If we leave them be, they will sell humanity itself to Tatez Balthazar." Corin Locke said, "Ah, you can just take Elder Morshutan, we will capture the rest." Estelle Hadasha El Ras remained silent for a moment, and then said, "Fine, then I will hand her over to you." Vice Captain Mordecai exclaimed, "But Saint Tess!" Estelle Hadasha El Ras said, "I'm quite excited, seeing as I already have the better end of the deal. What's your second condition?" Corin Locke said, "Let's cooperate from now on. As long as it is not political, I will help you out. In return, pray for me." Estelle Hadasha El Ras said, So you know about my powers? All right. As long as I have holy willpower, I will pray for you. That should not be too hard, since we live in the same place." She extended her soft hand to Corin Locke. Corin Locke said to himself, "The Saintess's prayer is a powerful buff you can only obtain at endgame." Corin Locke shook her hand and said, "So if you tell me when your prayers take place." Estelle Hadasha El Ras interrupted, "Call me sis." Corin Locke, confused, said, "Huh?" Estelle Hadasha El Ras grabbed Corin Locke's rough hand and said, "I want you to call me sis." Corin Locke replied, "How could I call someone who's both the princess and Saintess?" Estelle Hadasha El Ras said, "I said, call me sis, okay? Don't you think we will be working together for a long time?" She winked and embraced Corin Locke's muscular arm. Corin Locke said to himself, "This seems too fast. Will this be all right?" In a different scene, Jolin said, "We lost contact with Relin too? I could not care less about Manroji, but Relin, I finally recovered my will to live because of Relin. I even had this slave collar, prepared for when she joined the Red faction so I could adore her endlessly. Just who would do such a terrible thing to poor Relin?" Suddenly, someone at the door said, "Special delivery." Jolin shouted, "Leave it at the door." He saw an item on the floor. "What the heck? Is this a video stone?" Suddenly, a video appeared, with Raylan on it, beside Hardo-Gay. Jolin stammered, "No, Riri." "Yuke." Hardo-Gay flicked his tongue and said, "You. This young mage chick rocks. I am so lucky." Raylan cried out, "Heek!" Jolin shouted, "Raylan!" Raylan screamed, "Help me! I'm at the outskirts of the city." Jolin yelled, No, stop! I will be right there. I will be there soon." As Jolin ran, Corin Locke said to himself, "My goal was not these goons. It's the Tower Master, Idrin of Gold. The problem is, I have no clue who Idrin is among the 50 mages who entered the academy. However, I can still rule people out." Jolin arrived quickly at the outskirts of the city. He opened the door and shouted, "Raylan!" A system notification appeared, side quest, Shaded Love. Corin Locke said to himself, "There was a side quest about the old mage Jolin." As Jolin cried, "Raylan!" Corin Locke continued thinking, who had fallen in love with the young mage from the Black faction, Raylan. He emerged with a scary smile and prepared to attack Jolin from behind. Corin Locke thought, if the original scenario had a side quest and Raylan or Jolin were key characters, I can safely assume that neither of them is the Golden Mage. Jolin shouted, "I'll save," but was struck in the face by Corin Locke's spear. Corin Locke thought, then there's Manroji, whom we had captured before. A system notification said, side quest, the cheater's hidden trick, Corin Locke reflected, was someone who would be caught by the player for cheating. Raylan, Jolin, Manroji. Anyone with a side quest could not be the Golden Mage. A few moments later, Jolin groaned, "Where the heck am I? Hey, do you know who I am?" Corin Locke pulled out some tape. Jolin panicked. What the? Hey, you can't torture people before you ask questions." "I'll answer. Just start," Corin Locke thought. "I'll capture him and other key characters in side quests," Corin Locke said. "But you might lie." He thought again, "One by one, I will," then spoke aloud, "Take a good swig. It tastes good, does it not? It is a highly concentrated blood sten, and it turns them into vampires." Corin Locke poured a cup full of Mariette Dunileff's secret soup. He said, "He has got some guts." Jolin groaned. Corin Locke added, "It took 10 whole bowls to turn him into a vampire. Though, He looked again and muttered, "Another ghoul." Corin Locke said to himself, ghouls are servants of vampires. Virgins become Dracules or Draculae, while non-virgins become ghouls. Corin Locke said aloud, Manroji was the same deal. Why the heck are they all experienced? Am I the only virgin in this world? Mariette Dunileff raised her hand joyfully and said, "Whoa, me too. I have only ever touched my daddy's hand." She turned to Corin Locke and added, "I see. That means, Corin, you would become a Dracule." Corin Locke said, "Can you bring this guy's mind back? He is your servant now." Jolin groaned. Corin Locke said, "He will not be able to lie now." He drew a symbol on Jolin's lips using paint. Then with a dark voice, Korenlock said, "Now, my friend, tell me everything you know." Thanks for tuning in. I truly appreciate each and every one of you who took the time to watch this video. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more content like this. If you enjoyed what you saw, consider sharing my videos or channel with your friends who might also enjoy it. Your support means the world to me and helps my channel grow. Let's keep this community thriving together. Until next time, see you in the next video.